Hello and welcome to Upfront. My name is Dean Thullner Veljasic, and today we are filming on the unceded Nanaimo traditional territory. Today, my guest is Rita Innamorati from Volunteer Nanaimo. Hi Rita, how are you?
Very well, Dean. How are you?
Great, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to read a quote from your website before we get started. Volunteer Nanaimo is a collective and compassionate, generous, thoughtful group of people who have joined together to offer help, support, and mentorship to our community through volunteering. People helping people. Great slogan. Can you tell the audience what Volunteer Nanaimo is?
Well, I can tell you a little bit about how Volunteer Nanaimo has evolved.
Sure.
And it started in 1977 and became incorporated in 79, so we've been around for many, many years, 44 years this year in October. It's like hard to believe. And it started out as basically a center for people to sign up for volunteer opportunities. So when I started with Volunteer Nanaimo, that was 18 years ago, almost 19 years ago now. It would be 19 years in April. What we used to do was we would interview people and talk to them about their interests, their passions, and then direct them to the different places that they might want to volunteer. Back then, we would do the criminal record check, we would do the referrals, all the different things that sort of came about with that. And it was, of course, very, very busy. And since then, many organizations now have funding for paid volunteer coordinators and some volunteer coordinators. So we do a lot less of that with the larger organizations, although they are still members, many of them are still members with us. We generally tend to help more of the smaller organizations that don't have maybe storefront, or don't have offices.
Well, listen, I went to go have coffee with you for 5 minutes, and 3.5 hours later, we were still unraveling this, and I was amazed at the magnitude, the colossal undertaking that Volunteer Nanaimo does on a daily basis, that you direct your team to do. So it's a registered charity, Volunteer Nanaimo. It's 100% nonprofit,
Yes.
And it's volunteer.
Yes, it is.
That's incredible. I wanted to talk today about some of the services and programs that Volunteer Nanaimo does. Can we talk about the Community Volunteer Tax Program?
So we are part of the Community Volunteer Tax Program that is from CRA, runs that organization, and they set up volunteer tax preparers all over. So we do our training online. We've had, in the past, retired accountants, working accountants, a lot of bank people, myself included, and just, volunteers, bookkeepers, whatever, and they do the training, and we do income tax returns for people. We can go back to 10 years. So, and we get a lot of that, believe it or not. We can do 6-8 years for people. It's uncanny.
And this is a low barrier access. You can just go into the community office on Barron Street and ask for assistance.
We do book appointments for it because we set up specific days. That's a separate set of volunteers, so those volunteers will come in on tax days, especially. So Volunteer Nanaimo is open from Monday to Thursday from 9 to 3, and our tax days are Friday and Saturday during tax season all day. So we book up to 100 appointments a day.
Wow. On
Fridays and Saturdays. And then throughout the year, one Friday a month. And in emergencies, we work with, mental health and addictions, or Island Health. I work with the prison, so we do taxes on an ongoing basis as needed as well. So
Tremendous. So can you tell the audience today about the Autism Library?
Great. We have a partnership with the Central Vancouver Island Autism Society. The executive director there is Marilyn Sullivan, and they did a bunch of fundraising to have an autism library. It's something she felt was very passionate about, as the rest of their board is as well. Unfortunately, they're one of the smaller, no front door, no storefront, right? They work out of their homes, so they had nowhere to have the library, so they approached us and asked us if we would house the library. So we have this amazing library with, I don't know, about $15,000, $20,000 worth of resources, which is free. The books are free to borrow. There's books, there's games, there's videos. The books range from books for the child or for the younger person, young adults, for their siblings, books for the siblings to understand what's happening, books for the parents, books for the caregivers, books for teachers, resources, as I said, games.
Incredible.
It's an amazing library that she put together, and we're thrilled to have it there. And as I said, it's completely free. You just come in, sign the books out for 3 weeks, basically like the library.
Of course. Yeah.
And
move forward.
I
noticed when I was at the office that there were seniors coming and going, and I believe that you have programs to help seniors fill out various forms.
We do. If we get a phone call or a senior comes in and they need help to fill out applications for SAFER, which is the rental subsidy, guaranteed income supplements, CPP applications, none of them are really, really difficult. But for a lot of these seniors, it's just really hard to maneuver. Also, if they don't have access to technology or are afraid of technology, as many people are, they wouldn't even know how to download them and print them out and fill them out. So we would do that for them on an ongoing basis. Also, if they have any kind of problems, if they get phone calls they don't understand, BC Medical calls or PharmaSave, and they don't understand, if they get letters, they come in and bring them in, and we do our best to contact them, as you know how difficult it is to get through to the government, or for anybody to get through to the government or to the provincial plans. But we just take the time. So one nice thing about having volunteers in the office, you don't have to worry that you're wasting your wages because they're all just sitting there anyway. I mean, doing lots of other stuff. So
yeah, such compassionate care to those who are in need. Incredible service work. Let's talk about the Watchdog Computer Services. What is that?
That started about 20 years ago, and what it was an opportunity for people to come in and learn about technology. So that's continued on, and right now we still have the program, and people will donate their old computers, laptops, even iPads, phones, and our tech team of volunteers, they clear the information off if it's not already done, they reload software for the computers, and we are in desperate need of laptops. If anyone wants to donate, their laptops that they're not using anymore because they've moved on to something bigger and better, we would so appreciate it. And things like iPads for various reasons. But certainly during COVID especially, being able to Skype or Zoom, well, not Zoom so much, but certainly Skype with family members that you couldn't get near was really, really challenging. But they also tutor seniors. So we had a senior in yesterday. They were with a senior lady I was watching from my office, and I don't know how many hours she was there, but they finally hooked her up with Hotmail or Gmail and got emails set up. We have other people coming in, again, wanting to learn how to use Skype or just wanting to learn how to use their computers. I mean, the funniest story was the gentleman, a senior that came in with his boxed iPad still in the box, and he'd had it for so long, and I don't know if he's afraid to use it, or anyway, it was like so outdated. It was like 4 generations ago, but it was still working. It was brand new in the box, but technology is a scary thing for a lot of people, myself included.
Me too. I get a new iPhone and I'm terrified, right? It's every time they upgrade. But there are computers on site as well, yes?
We do. We set up a computer area, just a little private area. So if people want to look stuff up or download forms or send emails, check emails, do whatever they need to do. Again, during COVID, we started that because the library was allowing you to borrow books. If you ordered them online, they would prepare them for you, but you couldn't go into the library to use a computer to do it.
Right.
So we offered up a space, and people still come in, and even for things like we've had people come in to download their applications for permanent residence or anything like that. Just give them an opportunity.
Assistance as well, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I went on your website, and there's like 800 community charities, I think, or societies that you provide volunteers for. Certainly, there's nobody in this world that has attended a gala, a fundraiser, a sporting event, a children's charity fundraiser, a school that hasn't noticed the amount of volunteers that are always around, right? Volunteers are crucial to the success of any financial gain moving forward. But one of the things that I noticed with the volunteer opportunities was the vast diversity of opportunities for people. There are volunteer applications for every single person that is in this community. They'll be able to find that niche, right? I'm not going to go through them all, but there's everything from the Morel Nature Sanctuary to Nanaimo Family Life, Woodgrove Senior Citizens Housing, Red Cross, Eden Gardens for dementia, Elder Dog, helping walk dogs for those that are, in their homes that can't get out. How do you navigate all these programs? How do you ensure that the people that are moving forward are going to be safe to be able to take these jobs on? And how are they aligned into these different positions? Is it up to me to decide what I want to volunteer for, or do you help people navigate that?
Well, of course, it's totally up to you to decide who you're going to volunteer for. We don't have really anything more to do with it other than to advertise the positions that people notify us of. So if Elder Dog, for instance, if you were interested in doing that, there's contact information for you to contact those people and set something up, and they would do their own, whatever their protocols are regarding criminal record checks, and depending on who you're working with seniors and youth, of course, the vulnerability, criminal record checks, things like that, whatever they want to do. The fun part of what I do and what I loved doing when I first started and still continue to do, which is the bane of my volunteer's existence, I'm afraid to say, is when somebody comes in and they don't know what to do. Because obviously, I think it's pretty obvious when you and I were talking the other day, I like to talk and I like to find out about people. And I like to take the time to say, hey, what are you passionate about? Just because there's not a listing for what you want to do, it doesn't mean there's not a volunteer opportunity for you. And having been in the community for as long as I have, for instance, if Morel didn't have an ad, but somebody comes in and they want to do something that I happen to know Morel uses volunteers for, I would suggest you contact them anyway, because just because they're not appearing to be looking for someone right now, that doesn't mean that they don't need someone. Right. But lots of little things like that, and it drives my team crazy because they'll be like, oh, well, we didn't know about that. How come you know about that? And I said, I don't know, maybe being here 20 years has something to do with it. Sure. Meeting a lot of different people and, finding out, like they want to work with youth. I've had people come in and say, I want to work with youth. I don't know what I want to do. And there's just such a vast array of opportunities to work with youth. And
well, I can't urge this community enough to go onto your website. volunteernanaimo.org. You go onto that website, there's a tab button that comes down and it lists all the amount of opportunities that are listed. And I can guarantee that there's something out there for everybody, right?
And if there isn't, they should phone us.
Right, of course. Well, and it's also, what a great opportunity to connect if you're a newcomer into Nanaimo and you're wanting to connect or you're wanting to meet new people, or perhaps you're feeling isolated after COVID. Reach out to Volunteer Nanaimo, go onto the website, see there's a tremendous amount of opportunities.
No, there is, for sure. Yeah. And really, we're really struggling from a volunteer recession right now. Most organizations are really in dire need, either for mentorship for youth, or just about every organization you talk to is really in need of volunteers. I just came back from a volunteer conference I was at on the mainland for a few days, and that is the main topic is around recruitment, retention. How do we get volunteers back interested? We took such a hit with COVID. People, not that they lost interest, but it was taken away from them and they were forced to find other interests, and then that just became something that they wanted to do, aside from having the opportunity to travel taken away in the blink of an eye. And now they want to travel because they know that it can happen again just that quickly. So they don't really want to commit to something maybe like a job. And one of the things I said at the conference, at the end of the conference, we were talking about how to get volunteers. And my comment was to the group, volunteering is doing a job you love whenever you want and not having to pay income tax to do it. So they liked that, and I liked that. I don't even know why it popped into my head, probably because the income tax girl was there. But it's true, right? It's something that you do that you should love what you're doing anyway, but not everyone can find a job where they love what they do all of their work life. So for goodness sakes, find something you love when you're volunteering.
And reach out to Volunteer Nanaimo. Okay, I've got an image here. It's your youth program, Youth Network. Can you let us know what that is?
Okay, so Youth Network started many years ago, I think 2001. We started this Youth Network. It was a summer program. We get a grant every summer to hire students, someone going back to school, and that person at that time, whoever that engagement worker, the youth engagement worker, would get kids together under the age of 17, so 11 to 17. You can't volunteer really unless you're over 16. So this gave an opportunity to younger people to volunteer, and we would do this all summer long and have tons of opportunities. I mean, these guys go out and pick fruit for Nanaimo Food Share. They have a park. They go and clean once a month. They adopted a park with our other youth, the older youth. They, go to the VIAX. They go basically anywhere. They had Halloween for Hunger they've been doing for a few years, where they set up a little stand and collect food and donations for loaves and fishes. They did this past weekend.
Great.
Coats for Christmas. They do a little venture in December where they collect coats for the homeless. I think they collected hundreds of coats last year. It was amazing. I mean, when you think about these are young people who are coming together and all they want to do is help. In 2015, we decided that it was just a struggle to stop the program at the end of August and then try to start it again in June. So we decided we were going to do it year-round. And I know you're going to ask about it, and I hate to, foray into it, but I came home from visiting my grandchildren, and they had been to this Touch a Truck event in Ottawa.
Well, we were going to talk about
money.
Touch a Truck. So
Exactly.
I have an image I wanted to share with the audience today. This young gent in a red truck. He looks so happy, right? So that's an event that happens on Father's Day.
Right.
All right, well, let's talk about that.
So I came back from this trip, and I said, wow, this has got to be the easiest fundraiser on the planet. You fill a parking lot full of trucks, you charge people to come in and touch them, and kids love it. So if we can do this, and I brought it as a fundraiser for the youth program, if we can raise some money, we can pay a youth a monthly stipend, not an hourly rate, because during the school year, kids are in school, so they can't be going out volunteering every day, but we wanted to do something where they could volunteer once or twice a month for specific things, whether it's the CIBC Run for the Cure, whether it was the Santa Fly-In downtown, whatever it was. So that's how it started. We started in a field with no fencing. That didn't work out so well because there was no way to charge people for that. But it's been great. The last 2 years we've been at Woodgrove. Before that we were at Nanaimo North. This last 2 years we were at Woodgrove. They're amazing sponsors to us. And we're raising around $5,000 to $6,000 a year, which covers the cost of having someone organize youth throughout the year, so that by the time June rolls around and school is going out, all these kids are still involved, plus they've been bringing friends along because they do all kinds of exciting and fun things. So
Yeah. Well, and the different types of trucks I noticed. I didn't bring another photo, but on the website I noticed there's everything. There's like military trucks, there's fire trucks, there's ambulances. Like, that's very exciting for kids to be able to be that close to that.
Cranes, we have Mid-Island Towing brings the big tow trucks. We have the Vintage Tractor Club. They bring tractors from like 1918 up to 2020. So, and the kids love it. It's great. And we really want the other
I'm sure
side
some of the dads like it too.
Oh yeah, but we really wanted a family-friendly, affordable event.
Right.
For $20, your family can come in to touch a truck.
Perfect.
And what can you do for $20? One person can barely get into the movies for $20, and they can be there, and there's bouncy castles, and we had face painting, and spinning wheels and all kinds of stuff. So, and we just love it. It's growing every year, and it's just so amazing. And you're right, the kids love it.
I bet. All right, so I have another image that they're going to show, and it's called Youth 2020 Can. What is that?
So that is a second youth program. Now that program came about from the federal government. It's actually a funded program. So they're running it through a number of different organizations. Here on the island, it's in Victoria, Cowichan, it's on Gulf Islands, it's in Courtenay and Powell River, and Nanaimo, of course. So what that is a little bit, it's just a little bit different. First of all, they are working as mentors to our young volunteer group, which is ours. But they also, the idea behind the program is for this group of youth to actually come up with ideas of projects, sort of a lot of job skill building and different things that they can do for the community, right? To go into the community. So it's not just about answering the call, it's about coming up with the call, like coming up with the idea. They organized a fabulous talent show at the little theater downtown. They did all of it themselves to raise $4,000 for a Ukrainian refugee family.
Great.
They have done bottle drives. They actually started the Coats for Christmas. That group did that. And in the meantime, they're working with the Youth Network team. So we've got, the great thing is like these guys are like 15 to 29 because the government considers 29 to still be youth, which is, yay, really good for us, because that only makes us middle-aged. And then, just saying, but for young people, 11, 12, to see 18, 19, 20-year-olds volunteering with so much passion makes it a cool thing. Well, makes it something that they would want to do as opposed to something their parents are making them do, I guess.
Yeah, but what a successful way to offer opportunity for youth to have healthy connectivity to community and mentorship, right? I mean, that's a really, really good thing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, so we're moving into the holiday season. I know you've got your Angels Network Crafters, which is an umbrella program through Volunteer in Nanaimo that runs all year long. And this is a program that supplies, what is it, blankets and clothing. You tell me.
Well, the Angel Crafters, they actually do like knitting of blankets, making of quilts, toys, stuff like that. And again, another opportunity for people to virtually volunteer. They don't have to leave their homes. So it's really great for, a lot of people that want to stay home, but they want to give back, and it's just an easy way for them to do it because they're doing something they love, knitting, crocheting, sewing, and yet really helping with the community because all of those things are donated back out into the community, of course.
Right.
So that's a fun thing, and we're always looking for yarn if anybody wants to drop any off because, again, there's something else. Yarn is expensive, so people who want to do it can't necessarily go out and buy yarn. I mean, someone who's on a fixed income, yarn is not cheap. But if you have yarn sitting around because you were going to do that project 15 years ago, drop it by the office. We'll find a home for it real quick.
Good. Well, listen, we have a few minutes left. I wanted to talk about the Christmas Angels. Like I said, the holidays are upon us. I know that you are currently looking for people to sponsor families for Christmas. Can you just lightly touch on that for me?
Sure. So that started in 2008. As I said, we started helping out about 28 to 30 people. I can't quite remember, but we're in our 16th year. Last year, we positively affected 550 households, almost 1,600 individuals. It was great.
Incredible.
You can adopt pretty much a family, you can adopt a senior, you can adopt one of our vulnerable youth. So that would be young people either in foster care, group homes, transitioning from a group home into independent or semi-independent living. We just have the most amazing angels. Of course, we still only get about 50% of our families adopted. So we do have people that will just because you can't adopt a family, it doesn't mean you can't bring me a bottle of shampoo next time you're shopping. For some people, they have to choose between shampoo and soap and bread and milk. So, let's give them both. Let them have their bread and milk, and we'll give them the shampoo, and just a lot of different things. And if you, like I say, check us out, check out our newsletter. We've got a list of the most requested items.
How do you get on the newsletter? So you register through your website?
You can phone us, give us your email address. We're happy to send it to you.
Yes.
Absolutely
I got
thrilled.
mine today.
Yeah. Did you get yours today?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
great. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think I sent it out to the last two bunches. But this year, for the first time, we're really excited. Some of our sponsors or some of our sponsoring organizations actually have drop-off boxes. So if you check out the website, you can see where if you're don't want to adopt, but you want to drop something off, you don't necessarily have to come all the way down to Volunteer Nanaimo. We have spots all over the city after November the 11th, after Remembrance Day. We're going to set out the boxes so you can go to different places in town, Western Financial. You can go to Nanaimo Association Community Living, Fitness World at Country Club. We have the Moose Lodge in their main social quarters. You can drop things off there. And not necessarily has to be what's on the list. Those are things that are most asked for, but certainly any toys, anything that you feel like a family could use. We're just thrilled to have it because we just have so many families that end up not getting adopted that we want to take care of. You can also make cash donations through e-transfer, come by the office, we have a square. The one great thing about Christmas Angels is it's dollar in, dollar out. None of the money that you donate to Christmas Angels goes to administration. It all goes back into the community. So it's something that I'm really proud of. I mean, we've worked very hard to be able to do that. So we have to look for donated space, which we just received, and we want to say thank you. And so, because as you can imagine, trying to put together that much in a little office like ours, you've been in my office, you've been in my boardroom, it's small, we can't do it there anymore.
You must need volunteers to help with this project as well.
We have those volunteers, but it's more about getting the stuff there. And we work with agencies throughout the city. Some of the school counselors, other different organizations that work with people that are helping people, and that's actually where our families come from. So people can't self-refer, they actually are being referred and vetted before they get to us so that these are families in need, and we know that. And obviously there's so many more families that are in need than we could possibly help, but we do our best and work hard to get there. So
I'm here to tell you, you guys do your best and beyond. Really, seriously, Rita,
you
are an angel in this community, and we are so fortunate to have you and to have this organization doing this incredible work. There's so many facets to Vancouver Volunteer Nanaimo. Sorry, not Vancouver, but Volunteer Nanaimo. And I was beyond impressed with the magnitude of work that came out of there, and I can't thank you enough on behalf of the community for all the good work that you do. I did want to tell everybody that if you wanted to reach out to Volunteer Nanaimo, you can go to their website at volunteernanaimo.org. You can visit that and see the current postings for volunteer. They're always looking for volunteers. You can go to the location, which is Unit 3, 3148 Barons Road, or you can drop by and speak to them in person. And if you're having trouble navigating it, they're super friendly and they're there to help you. And if you'd like to make a donation, perhaps you're not interested in volunteering or unable to volunteer, you certainly can make a donation. You can also go to PayPal, the link under volunteernanaimo.org, or you can walk into the office and they accept debit or credit. Rita, I cannot thank you enough for joining me here today. It's been absolutely amazing. Is there any last thing that you'd like to say to the community before we sign off?
Well, what I would like to say, first of all, of course, thank you for having me, but please know this isn't me. I have the most amazing team of volunteers who show up for me every day, no matter what, snow, rain, sleet. They're just, I can't say enough about the people that I work with. It's just an awesome, awesome team, and I don't want to let anyone have the impression that this is me by myself, because it sure isn't. If it was just me sitting in that office, you and I wouldn't have had time to talk because nobody would have been answering the phone. So
it takes a village, for sure.
It does take a village, and I just want to say thank you to my team, thank you to my board. They're all spectacular.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today, Rita, and thank you all for tuning in today. This was Upfront. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.